shoot the Waste Knot, then use Lithoform Engine and copy the Sundering Growth, then shoot the Jeskai Ascendancy. But we end up with 3 Rhinos out of the deal, which isn't terrible.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Ghired Conclave Exile deck as we try to ramp and populate some giant tokens. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's 2 great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Ghired Conclave Exile today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Mango, who's in the game with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at this opener. It's pretty slow. I'm gonna mulligan that. Would ideally like to find some ramp. Oh, I forgot to change the land colors in the deck. I'm gonna keep this and pray. I had played this deck once the other day, and it didn't go so well, but what I noticed is that the color distribution is way off in the mana base. This is a lot of plains, and there is not a lot of white cards in this deck. There's a forest. Oh my god, thank god. Play the forest. We get to play Magic today. I was gonna be annoyed if I had to try to film this video for a 3rd time. Oh man. Anyway, let's take a read of our commander. It's Ghired Conclave Exile, 5 mana for a 2/5. When it ETBs, make a 4/4 green Rhino token with trample, and when it attacks, populate. The populated token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. So this is an interesting deck. I've faced this deck many times from Mango. Maybe not so much on the channel. They play it in paper fairly often, though. And basically, this is a ramp deck that's just going to slam bombs every turn of the game. And like, if you don't have a lot of removal on hand, there's a pretty good chance you'll lose to this deck. Now, when I played this the other day, Mango brought a Hoffrey deck and immediately assembled repeatable removal with like Cavalier of Dawn and I forget what the other one was. And this deck does not have a lot of great answers to stuff like that. So it's not a deck that has tons and tons of answers. It is the threat. Now, in fairness, in that game, Mango did have a turn 1 Soul Ring, which made everything a lot faster than it's supposed to be. And, you know, a lot of the pain can be attributed to that. But, yeah, this deck does not answer things particularly well based on that. We got one of the few board wipes in the deck in our hands, so we'll want to be very diligent about how we use that. I think we need red and green. We'll just get the Sheltered Thicket right here. Seems like a good call. And we'll pass like that. And it was one of those situations, too, where, like, a single Swords or Path could have gotten us out of the problem that we were in, which are in the deck, but we just never drew them, and no one else really had a lot of hard removal in the game to be able to deal with problems, and Mango had cast so many problems that, like, someone had, what's the White Angel when it dies? It exiles something. Archon of Justice, that one. You know, like, someone had one of those that went down one time, but it just... Mango's decks are very strong, and basically, if someone assembles an engine, you're probably going to be in trouble with this deck, and that's what happened. Well, that's a Soul Ring, so we're going to speed up a bit here, which is pretty cool. Let's play the Plains, play the Soul Ring. It puts us on 5 mana, which is short. That's exactly our commander, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to get our commander right here, even though we could go for the Cultivate. Just because it's early and we can get busy. Like, there shouldn't be too much blocking for a few turns still, so we can get some extra tokens. I mean, 99 times out of 100, I'm playing Cultivate right there, but I think in this particular situation, it makes sense to do this and just be mana efficient instead of giving up the 2 mana that we didn't really have anything to do with, so... now, this thing is about to come online, and not thrilled about having to discard a card every turn. Oh, God, that's a Hypnotic Spectre. So next turn, we're definitely going to want to get the Zuvenwald Hydra in, which, again, also means maybe not getting the Cultivate. This is going to be weird. This is going to be a weird game. We're not just slamming the... I mean, I think we need the Cultivate, though. Like, Cultivate next turn is 2 lands, and we don't have another land in hand, so... Oh, we could do a crazy play. So if we can get this thing down... Oh god, that's a Zedruu? You brought a Zedruu? Oh, I hadn't even looked at that yet. We're in for some trouble. Oh, man. What a silly commander. Soul Ring for Mango. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. I'll probably just Nature's Claim that Soul Ring, because I know what happens when Mango has a lot of mana. Problems happen. Found out the other day. Okay, there's a land. That being the case, I think we're okay without the Cultivated. Yeah. We're short on green mana, though. I kind of want a Chain Reaction, but I don't think that's the right call here. Oh, the green mana, the mana colors, man. Because we can't Hydra and shoot the Soul Ring all in the same shot, which is frustrating. Maybe we do Chain Reaction. Huh. Because I think we can Chain Reaction and Cultivate. Yeah, that seems like it might be the way to go. I was hoping to, like, hang on to this for a little while, but, like, the way this thing works, and play the Cultivate. Let's get Forests and Mountains. Forest into play tapped. Play the Mountain. Send this one into Flintlock, this one into Sherry, and we'll make the other one attack into Mango. Maybe we don't Chain React. We definitely set our mana up to Chain React, though. So we Chain React, and then opponents just cast their next best thing. I think we've kind of set up into this play too much, I think. So casting our commander last turn actually not working out that well because we just cast Chain Reaction. We would have been better off casting Cultivate and just not giving up the mana. We did poke our opponents a little bit, but I don't think that was worth the additional commander attacks on our commander. So back to the command zone. You know, we don't know for sure that the Hypnotic Spectre is coming our way, but if it did, I think it's just so painful that... Plus the force discard from their opponent. So I feel a lot better just slowing everyone down a little bit. Yeah, they just recast their commander right here. Basically, we're just buying ourselves time. It was kind of a tempo play more than it was anything. Really not ready for everyone's stuff to get online yet. So role reversal. Exchange control of 2 permanents that share a type. Oh no, they take our Soul Ring. Oh, rude. Rude. At least we got a mana rock back out of it. It's not like a great trade, but... better than just, like, losing it completely. At least we still got something. Ratadrabik, back to play. This commander is also really strong, which was another big factor in that chain reaction. If we didn't wipe right there, or this doesn't go down for any reason, then they just cast something, and then immediately, like, the board wipe becomes much less effective. So I think the board wipe was the right call right there. Anyway, we draw another land. That gives us something to discard if we have to discard, which I think we probably will. So we're going to cast the Uvenwald Hydra right here. The mana base in this deck is kind of terrible in the sense that there are very few utility lands. Core Haven's really about it, I think. So what's this one do? Look for a creature. We'll get Core Haven just because it's nice to have, and it is one of the few utility lands in the deck. Yeah, if you're running this thing and like the ability to make copies of this thing, then you really want to spice up your mana base and get some of the card draw lands in there, maybe a Slayer Stronghold, Sunhome, Skarg the Rage Pits, stuff like that. Oop, that's a Cabal Coffers. Well, we try to slow them down. Here comes the pain. We'll give a read of their commander, by the way. It's the Raven Man out of, was that Dominaria United? Is that what that set symbol is? Too many sets. Can't keep track of them anymore. As we see Faith of the Devoted and Cunning Lethomancer. There's one. Got one of these in a box. It's been in the box for like 10 years. I just don't play a lot of discard, I guess. It's been in my Commander Staples box. This could loosely be called a Commander staple. Very, very narrow staple. Anyway, the Raven Man, 2 mana for a 2/1. At the beginning of each end step, if a player discarded a card this turn, create a 1/1 black bird creature token with flying, and this creature can't block. Pay 4. Each opponent discards a card. Activate only as a sorcery. It's a little expensive on the mana cost to activate that, but it is a powerful effect, right? Like, every time you activate that card, you're essentially 3-for-1ing your opponents. Actually, it's not even, you're not even losing a card, really. So it's just like -3 from your opponents, and all it's doing is costing you mana, which is, that's a thing, right? That's, you know, like, 1 activation of it may not end a game, but like 3 activations of it is a lot of threats that you're no longer having to deal with. That's a Zedruu into play. I'm not thrilled about Mango Heaven. Ooh, what's this thing do? Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, your opponent loses 2 life, and you... Oh, man, that seems... Alright, because bigger threats have shown up. Because the Faith of the Devoted has shown up, Mango is probably going to get to keep this Soul Ring, which I'm not really thrilled about, but because that puts their mana production, like, very close to ours. And that's not what you want out of the black-white deck. You want them to be behind and slow and not do all the wild stuff. There's a Firja. Yeah, love Firja. Played my paper version of the deck the other day. Had a good time with it. I'll tell you what, though. At 5 mana, she really needs to be like a 3/5. 2/4 is so small at 5 mana. Or, I mean, at 4 mana, she's perfectly fine, right? A 4 mana 2/4, I can live with. At 5 mana, it's just a lot of mana for not a lot of power. Because being that the deck does have black in it, you do spend a lot of your own life just drawing cards and doing other stuff, so. Mango goes on the attack over to Flintlock. They're going to block with the Cunning Lethomancer. Well, at least that's one card we won't have to discard. Love it. But yeah, this is going to be kind of a discard tribal deck over there. And, yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be pretty strong. Yeah, it's the type of thing that, like, it does take a lot of mana, but opponent's got this Coffers in, so if the Coffer stays there, right, then they'll have all the mana production they need to activate this every turn, and we will all run out of cards very quickly if that's the case. We are going to shoot this Faith of the Devoted. Seems a little too combo-tastic for my liking, and given that we're probably just going to be discarding stuff here soon anyway, might as well get it out of our hand. What's unfortunate is I wanted to get an attack off with our commander so we could populate this thing. That's another land. Play Ghired. We make a 4/4. I'm going to go for the multicolor land, I think. I didn't tap in a way that we could, like, leave this up, which I probably should have, but I feel like our mana colors are just awkward, so we'll do that. We do have a 9/9. Mango's usually a safe bet to attack into. They can just block, but at least we'll get rid of it off the first one if they do. Or they lose a huge chunk of life. Either one's fine with me. Yeah, they're going to block with Firja. Yep. So that increases the effectiveness of a board wipe a little bit, should it happen, since we're already getting rid of the first one here. Or we're getting rid of the token copy. The last thing you want to do is let this deck just, like, spiral out of control. And the problem, though, is that very soon we're going to be living off the top of our deck. And the way that you beat this card is with permanents that repeatedly draw cards. Green has many of them, Guardian Project, Beast Whisperer, that type of stuff. This deck doesn't have so many of those. This has more of the power-based draw, which can help, right? But it's not that continuous draw that can really get you out of all the discards from opponents. Necrotic Hex. Each player sacrifices 6 creatures. Oh my god. Oh, really? What is this even out of? What is that, Commander Legends? I don't think I've seen this card. Plumb the Forbidden. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, now we're really living off the top and not thrilled about that. And they get they get 6 2/2s out of it. That's pretty good. Back to the command zone. We all have nothing, and now they have, decent little army. I have to remember that card next time I'm playing a zombie deck. It's really not bad. It's almost like a Black Marshal coup. That's what it reminds me of. And in today's day and age, I would say that it's rare that you'll run into situations where people have more than 6 creatures in play. Like, the few times that that's going to come up is someone's playing a token deck, or it's just very late in the game and a board wipe hasn't happened in a long time. That's a time spiral. That's going to be a full grip, which I think is good news for us. Also, that shuffles Mango's Graveyard, which I'm sure can be a little annoying. Ooh, that's not how you want to draw right here. That is not how you want to draw. Unfortunately, we can't cast that because we didn't play the right colors of mana. Whoops. We do have this Memorial to Unity, which probably going to have to crack, but it's going to take us a turn to do it. We can get the Lithoform engine going, which is something, I guess. I don't know how I feel about filling up the hand of the player with Cabal Coffers. Doesn't seem amazing, but... Jeskai Ascendancy. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to want to shoot that. Probably hit it with this Sundering Growth. This card can get wild. It's an Honor-Worn Shaku, yeah. Good for your legendary tribal decks. And that Skyclave Relic kicked, so Mango now has a lot of mana. Potentially even more than us, or at least still staying on par with us. Though we're probably going to try to get a little more here with Farhaven Elf and this thing. Warlock class. This kind of looks like a counterspell, which makes me not super thrilled. Oh my god, another land. Really? We've pulled a decent number of lands out of the deck too, right? Like, we've ramped a bit, and we just found the pocket of lands. That is unfortunate. Let's start with the Lithoform engine. Let's get the Farhaven Elf. Crap. Let's see. You have to do it this way, I guess. Play the Exotic Orchard, Farhaven Elf. That's not what I wanted to do. Well, I guess with that being the case, I was going to try to copy the Farhaven Elf, but instead we're just going to copy the ability. Didn't hold up priority. Oh, we do get 2 lands back out of this. Forest, mountain. But the problem, though, is that I want it to populate. So we're going to try to... We'll see if anyone else wants to deal with this, but Also, we'll kind of see how bad things get. Like, if they start casting a bunch of spells, maybe we just interrupt it and shoot it in the middle. But Raven Man, coming back. Yep. I'm ready for the next wheel to go off, because the last one was not very... Ooh, never mind. That is a potential Sundering Growth target also. So now we have to try and wait to get back to our turn with the Sundering Growth. It's not amazing. Hymn to Turak. Since we have mostly lands, I'm just going to pray that it's both lands and we don't lose that sun. Okay. Both lands. They unfortunately get 4 mana back out of that, which I don't love, but Waste Not is a problem. Howling Golem. Whenever it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. Oh, I'm down for that. We need cards. We need cards. 2 zombies at each of us. That seems fair. Someone posed a really interesting question on Twitter a while back, which was, what's better, artifact removal or enchantment removal? And my answer to that question was, there are typically more artifacts in play, but even 1 or 2 enchantments can warp the games around themselves. Jeskai Ascendancy can take over a game, is a known combo piece. Waste Not can definitely take over a game. So, I'm not saying they're not both important, but there are enchantments that, like, single-handedly can just take over a game. Like, if you're playing a creature deck and someone has a Dictate of Erebos in, you're probably not going to win, right? You need to get rid of that Dictate, otherwise you're probably just never going to have creatures, so... Rhystic Study, someone draws a million cards, Smothering Tithe, all the mana, right? Just all that stuff. So, in my mind, getting rid of enchantments is a little bit more important just because those are the things that are really going to end the game. A lot of artifacts just tend to produce mana, and mana is very good, and you still want to run artifact removal, but they don't just end the game, necessarily. Now, if it's like a turn 1 Soul Ring, sure. You're going to be at a real big disadvantage unless you get rid of that somehow, but... opponent recasts their commander for a ton of mana. That's actually a very lackluster kind of play. I can get down with that. It's a Hedron Archive. Yep. That is an Elesh Norn. Ew. That kills most of the things on board. Upgrades the Warlock class to level 2. Luckily, we may not have to deal with that Elesh Norn, because everyone needs to deal with that Elesh Norn. And we each lose 1 at the beginning of the end step. Yep. Another land. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Play the mountain. I think we have exactly enough mana to do this. Cast Ghired. Oh, we need a hold priority when we do that. No, never mind. We do not. Recast our commander. We make a Rhino. Hold priority this time. Shoot the Waste Not. Then use Lithoform Engine and copy the Sundering Growth. Then shoot the Jeskai Ascendancy. Unfortunately, I wish we had a cool token to copy, but alas, we do not. But we end up with 3 Rhinos out of the deal, which isn't terrible. If we can get rid of the Elesh Norn, those will actually have, like, a meaningful amount of damage associated with them. Flintlock passes without doing anything? There aren't, like, a lot of crazy instants in black, so I'm very curious about what they have. If it's 4 lands, then... he says not with a Norn out. Yeah, okay. I'm still surprised that, like, in a mono black deck, there isn't, some enchantment or something that's not particularly bothered by Elesh Norn that they can drop out. Sakashima the Imposter. Oh, dear God. I don't think I like where this is going. Oh, thank God. Opponent's going to Baleful Mastery the Elesh Norn. Oh, that's interesting. So, whatever they had... they were holding back because of the Elesh Norn, but they had the answer to the Elesh Norn. Now, I mean, I guess this works though, right? So they effectively gave up one of their turns to kind of go for the surprise play here, but they're actually getting a nice 2-for-1 with this because I'm sure this was going to be another Elesh Norn. And now they have to copy something way less exciting than Elesh Norn. Our commander is probably the best bet. Just makes another Zedruu. Okie dokie. That works. That works. I guess they can... it does have the return ability, so it's not completely dead. But, take some time and mana to do all that stuff, so... yeah, that's it's an interesting play out of Flintlock right there. Because if it were me, I'd probably just shoot at main phase and then cast whatever I'm trying to do. And, go about my business that way, but... he's got something in the works, it seems. I would love to draw anything that matters. Anything that matters would be cool, because we can copy it. A draw spell would be incredible. Definitely making 2 of them. Opponent's going to steal one of our lands. Role Reversal is back. The land doesn't bother me as much. We do get an island, though. Not that we need an island. Flintlock just tapping out their mana, I think. So they can F8. At this stage of the game, I do like to hold mana open like that, just even if I don't have anything. Just to bluff. At least make opponents think a little bit that you might have something. You're like, ugh, man. It's a lot of open mana. I don't know if I want to go over there. At least the island's real pretty. It's got that going for it. I need to get some of these. These look nice. I like this cycle. We have looked at 17 lands this game, including the 2 in our graveyard, which means we are through half the lands in our deck at only 78 cards. It's a little bit unlucky. We got pretty unlucky into that wheel. And we need something real big to pull us out of that. There's a Braids. Ugh. Yep. Braids and Step Trigger. They doing anything? They sacrificed an artifact. Do we want to give them card draw? Oh, yeah, we can sacrifice this, and this reduces the amount of cards that Sherry will draw, so that's actually not a bad idea. Oh, wait. Better read this again. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. Yeah, okay. So we reduce the effectiveness of double Zedruu a little bit by getting rid of that signet. That's a Utvara Hellkite. That is a magic card. Let's do things this way. Let's go straight to combat. Mango said their Skyclave relics aren't untapping? Weird. I didn't notice that. Ghired into Flintlock, because they can block with the thing. And we'll send these other 3 into Mango, because it's getting late, and Mango is very scary late in the game. Plus, this is a lot of card draw right there. Plus life loss. Yeah, attack like that. Put another attacker into Mango. This is a decent hit. What was that? That's 16 with Trample? Don't know if they'll block any of it. Yeah, it's half their life. Opponent's going to block with the Howling Golem, and each player will draw a card. Boduca Gardener. You know, I'm not convinced about this card in the deck. Well, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. Okay. So we're going to cast the Utvara Hellkite, holding up priority. Then we're going to Lithoform Engine the Utvara Hellkite. If someone has a board wipe, they're definitely going to play it. With that being the case, I'm actually going to hold back the Gardener and go for the Memorial to Unity right here. Been wanting to get that in just because it's kind of a fail-safe in case we have to discard everything or something like that. This board state already says someone's got to play a board wipe, or at least get rid of the dragons, because that is a lot of damage. Lithoform Engine's pretty cool if you have the mana for it. It is very expensive to use. Probably fits really well into a Zerta deck where those abilities are a lot cheaper. But yeah, if you can afford to use it, this is a pretty strong board state. See what opponents got. This is a Ghired Sanitarium. The Raven Man back to play for a lot of mana. Containment Construct. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play it this turn. Interesting. Ghired Sanitarium. Thalia's Lancers is a helpful backup to have. The Gardener just feels like it's going to be way too slow. Ooh, there's an Aurelia in this deck. So if we untap, that's probably game with everything that we have. That is a lot of damage. Someone discarded, so Raven Man gets to make a bird. First time we've seen that all game. With all the board wipes going off, didn't really get a great look at it. Luckily it can't block, so it doesn't really do much against our dragons. We need to survive 2 players, though. So there's been 2 instances of everyone draw a card with the Ghired and the Howling Golem. And Sherry's going to go up a few more cards here as well. So, you know, we're trying to dodge the board wipe, dodge removal. And what are we looking at? About 15 cards between our opponents, 16 when Mango draws. Ooh, 10 cards? Yep. 17 when Mango draws. I guess the good news is that Sherry doesn't have tons and tons of mana. But, you know, one big play could be a headache. Nin the Pain Artist, there's one you don't see much of anymore. This is a very popular 1-versus-1 deck on Magic Online going back 6, 7, 8 years. Probably closer to 8 years at this point. Turns out drawing a lot of cards can be really strong. Ooh, that's Rift mana, if they have it. Would love to not get rifted. Blade of Selves is a magic card. Blade of Selves on the Ratadrabik. Yep. Gonna send it into Sherry. There's the Myriad trigger. This is legendary, though. Not sure what the plan is here. Oh, the things die and then they all come back? Is that what? Oh, I think that's what happens. I think they misclicked on the Myriad, though. There's only 1 token. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is how that works. Okay. I see what's up. Hadn't seen that interaction yet. They can double block and kill it. I'd prefer they did. This would be a good spot for the green-white dragon. What's Dramoka? So they can't cast stuff during your turn. I would love to go get that with all these Lancers. I don't think it's in here, though. Don't see it. That would be a good one. There's an Erebos coming in for Mango. I did ask Sherry if I was going to be sad if I attacked in their direction, and they said, that's a distinct possibility with me having open mana. I'm like, yeah, okay. Noted. Animate Dead on the Bantu. Mango said if everything worked the way they wanted to, they were going to have like five Bantus. Yeah, that would have been kind of wild. Although you have to sacrifice the draw, right? Yeah. Like that's okay, right? They aren't 5/6s, so that's decent. But you're not gonna get the effect of all of them just because you have to sacrifice a lot of permanents to do it. Yeah, there's a token Bantu braids trigger. No, we'll just pay the life. Lithiform Engine's pretty good. There's a Kabira Crossroads. That is another land that we do not need. This is risky. I think we're doing it though. Cast the Thalia's Lancers, holding priority. Lithiform Engine to copy the Thalia's Lancers. Use the ability, getting Aurelia. Thalia's Lancers. You know what? If we get bounced into Oblivion, I think Kodama might be a good answer here. So I'm gonna guess that it's bounce and not something else. In which case, if we get bounced, then Kodama lets us get everything out of our hand easily. Play this Plains, cast Aurelia. Opponent just put Aurelia back on top of our library. That limits the amount of damage that we can do. This one into Mango, this one into Mango, this one into Mango. These ones into Flintlock. I think we'll just stay put with our commander. Oh my god, that's so many dragons. That is a lot of... Oh, I forgot. We don't populate because... Yep. We didn't attack with our commander. Whoops. If Mango doesn't block, it's still lethal. Mango said they had to go, so they just said, hey, can you kill me? I'm like, yeah, I can if no one bounces us to death. Flintlock's going to survive, though, and, like, if this wasn't board wipe or bust last turn, it really is now. Mango goes down. Flintlock at 25. Find out who's going to draw a board wipe. There's another Ghired Sanitarium. We want to get rid of this land. Aurelia's back. Definitely discard the land. Bloodchief Ascension. Well, with one less player at the table, we have a little bit of time until that's active. Key to the City. Gonna make their commander unblockable and discard a card. They can cast it with the thing. 2-1 our way. Yep. Hatred for a million. That would be unfortunate. Can't block. Key to the City. Down to 32. Looks like opponents run out of gas. They only have one card in hand. And they make a bird. They get a counter on Bloodchief Ascension, but they did not play something that answers this. Now, we got this Jeskai deck over here. Jeskai, known for answers. So I have some concerns. Also, they drew a lot of cards last turn. Does look like they have some sort of enchantment theme going. There's an Opalescence right there. There's a Mirror Maid. Haven't seen too many of them. We only saw the Jeskai Ascendancy, which we shot, but Zedruu triggers. Trying to dodge the removal. That's a Nahiri. Okay. They can exile a creature. Probably exile a dragon. Isn't a bad idea. Does it say whenever a dragon? Yeah. Oh my god. If all these things are able to attack, even if there's only one, yeah, okay. So one Utvara goes down. We only have the token copy, but that's okay because we can make another if this all works out. The thing we haven't planned for is Settle the Wreckage. Or Comeuppance. I planned for, like, Aetherize, Cyclonic Rift. So it looks like they've got 6 mana up. Did not plan for Settle or Comeuppance. Settle, there's not a lot you can do about Comeuppance. Avacyn makes it so you don't lose your stuff. There's a land. Let's just go to combat and just see what happens. Like, do I want to cast this Aurelia and go wild? Yes, but with this much open blue mana, I don't think that's going to work out so well. So, go to combat. Chaos Warp on the other Utvara Hellkite, also not a bad idea. What do we get? Boros Charm on top. Opponent's down to 4 mana, still could be Settle, Comeuppance, or Aetherize. Stack with this one this time, like we didn't do last time. Everything else at the blue deck? How much is that? That's like 24. We can pull some of it back. Send these ones in the Flintlock. That should be enough. Let's populate Athalia's Lancers. We don't have a lot of card advantage. This is a little bit of card advantage that we might need. See what opponents got. Firestorm. What? I don't know if I've seen this card. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard X cards. Deals X damage to each of X targets. Wow. They discard their hand doing it. They're going to go really low in life, but they are actually going to survive. Well, that's interesting. What we are going to do is copy our Ghired trigger. Yeah, we're going to make Athalia's Lancers. We'll send that into Sherry. We can whittle down their life. Use the ability. Let's get an Avacyn. Those are always good to have on hand. Ooh, Hoffrey would have been good. Well, mostly tokens, I guess, we're shooting, but those all go down. Sherry said he's probably the only one to run Firestorm since Weatherlight Standard. Cool play. Costs a lot of cards, though. Ouch. Yeah, let's copy another Thalia's Lancers. And we'll just try to finish them off. I think that might be enough on the ground to get through. 4 creatures versus 3 blockers. I think that's Xaxes. What are we getting here? Hoffrey is good board wipe protection, and board wipes are the thing that we're trying to avoid. Although, we only have 1 non-token creature in play right now. It's Athalia's Lancers. Opponent's got some... Oh, nope, they're not all going at Sherry. I think Sherry's going to survive on low life, which is bad news for us. Should have tried the... I mean, they just shoot the Aurelia if we cast it. That's all that happens there. We each draw a card. That's exciting. Opponent is going to have to block, so at least we get rid of the Nin, the Pain Artist. They can draw a little bit with it. Actually, to target creature... Yeah, it won't kill them. There's a Wood Elves. Some things die to first strike. Sherry survives at 4. Yeah. Okay. Let's get Kodama. And then we'll go Forest, Kodama trigger. Now that everyone's low on cards, I feel okay about slamming all of our stuff. We don't have a free permanent. Cast Avacyn. Avacyn bringing in Hoffrey, and this creates a board state that's really hard to interact with. You need like a Farewell, Mass Exile, Mass Bounce, or multiple pieces of Exile spot removal is where our opponents need to be now. You either need 1 or 2 really specific cards, or you need a big handful of like Bounce and removal and Chaos Warp type stuff. So a big part of Commander is actually like, once you create a board state that can't be interacted with, a lot of times that's how you win the game, because you can just keep doing whatever you're doing. If opponents can interact with you, it is much harder to win the game. I've seen that a lot lately, where it's like, the second you can't interact with that person, even if it's something like mono white with like a Sun Titan, an Archon of Coronation, and like, I don't know, a Selfless Spirit or something like that keeps coming back, that's not going to kill you particularly fast, but if you can't interact with it, it's still a big problem, and will get you in the long run. We have to discard a card, we'll get rid of the Wood Elves. Opponent laid down a Geth's Grimoire right there, and then did some discard with something, I didn't see what. Oh, Bone Miser. And, yeah, they can draw some cards now. Got a little bit of mana left. Toxic Deluge would blow up the board, but we would get all the token copies with Hoffrey, so we'll still have something to show for it. Key to the City, Bone Miser, yep. Megrim, yeah, okay. Opponent's starting to get the stuff. I bet if they had one more turn, we probably be in some trouble. Raven Man coming in our way, yep. It's unblockable. Down to 30. Ooh, Bloodchief Ascension now active, yeah. That's a thing that gets you killed. You know, that could be good in a way, because it makes it so Sherry can't really cast cards. Actually, they need to use this to exile the Bloodchief Ascension before they start casting like spells of any sort. I guess they gain life with the Zedruu ability. That helps a little bit, but still, I think it's only 1. They're going to loot with Nahiri. Yeah, that's not a great idea with the active Bloodchief Ascension. And a Megrim. I think they go to 1 now. And a funny story, we could kill them with Reclamation Sage on our Soul Ring. Actually, no. What does it say? No, because the Soul Ring would actually go to our graveyard, so that doesn't work. That's unfortunate. Sherry's down to 3. Raven Man, Bloodchief Ascension. God Pharaoh's Gift. That's also helpful backup in case things go horribly wrong. Let's cast Aurelia just in case. We've been trying to get her in. Been patient with the Aurelia play. Kodama trigger. I'm just going to skip the Kodama trigger. Go to combat. Send 2 at Sherry. And everything else into Flintlock. There's the combat trigger. Flintlock asking if he's got the Settle the Wreckage. He says no. I gotta start running Settle and Comeuppance more. I stopped running them for a while, and now I find myself losing to creature decks a lot. Because with Sorcery Speed board wipes, it's really easy to just get, like, out-tempoed. Unless you're casting, like, Doomscar or one of the, like, Vanquish the Horde, which I think is kind of expensive. It's hard to make additional plays during that turn, and then everyone rebuilds, and you're still on the back foot. So, like, Comeuppance and Settle. I gotta start putting them back in decks. Anyway, that's the game. We end up taking everyone down. Longer game there at 12 turns. Definitely saw some removal, unlike the last game I played with this deck. And we actually found some of ours this time, which was helpful too. We had the Chain Reaction and the Sundering Growth, which... Where'd that go? Sundering Growth, which that got rid of some key pieces and made us like not die to those things. So that was very helpful. As far as the deck, like I said, the color distribution is way off here. There's a lot of plains here. You probably only need about 3 or 4 plains, and the rest can all go into forests. Or this deck needs a lot more utility lands. I want to see the card draw lands, the haste lands, Slayer Stronghold, Sunhome, Scarg the Rage Pits, all that type of stuff. Gavany Township, if you like. And also the other thing I want to see in the deck, I want to see a lot more haste. When you're casting these big, like if you're trying to do anything with the Drakuseth, you need multiple haste sources. You can get 2 off the lands for free with Flamekin Village and Hainware Battlements, and I would definitely put those in. Mango said that Urabrask was in here at one point. I would put Urabrask back in the deck. When you're talking about these big things, like you just want to be able to attack with haste, and Urabrask, I'd probably go Ogre Battle Driver too. Or you go like a Fervor, which is a little more durable. Take your pick. There's a lot of options, but I'd probably have about 3 or 4 sources of haste in the deck. The other thing too is more card draw. There are a couple pieces. There's a Soul's Majesty and a Garruk right here. I don't know that there's a lot outside of that. So I'd probably add a little bit more of that. Even there's a Momentous Fall here too, so that's number 3. Yeah, I mean another few pieces would be good, because if you don't run into any of these, you're gonna run out of cards, right? So, you want what's not in here? Hate Mirage is a very crazy card when you can populate the tokens. I'd probably look at adding a Hate Mirage just for the funsies. I've seen some crazy plays with that in the past. But the other thing I think we're missing too, I think, we have Aurelia as the extra combat. There could be more extra combats, right? For a deck that wants to attack, you'll close the game out faster, because like we were just holding our breath there at the end that like no one had anything. Which may also be a case for like Tibolt's Trickery, right? Sometimes you just need to keep your stuff alive. And if you're trying to avoid that big blue bounce spell like we were hoping we weren't going to run into, then, that's the thing that you might want to think about. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.